Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. That's Steve Julian over there.
And Brett Chapin.
We are talking with the two very talented cast members from Rabbit Hole at Theater Palisades and one very talented director. If you have any questions for our guest, give us a call at 1-800-336-2225 and pick up your 2 free tickets to Rabbit Hole at Theater Palisades. TheaterPalisades.com for information on that. And Tony, I'll start with you since you're the helmer of the show. And
I'm the talented director.
Yes, you are. A very talented director.
With my 2 talented actresses.
Yes,
here.
I know. Look at you. You're flanked by lovely ladies. How nice is it?
I am lucky.
Excellent.
I am lucky.
So we'll start, before we get into Rabbit Hole, tell me a little bit about your history as an actor or director. How did you get the bug?
It came quite by accident. I was in New York, and a friend of mine says, got some acting classes to go to. I had no clue what I wanted to do in my life. Mm-hmm. And I went to some acting classes, and it sort of just hit me. You know, it was like a duck in water. I fell in love with it. And pretty much I followed the tide of events. I studied with, I was very lucky, didn't know at the time, studied with Mr. Lee Strasberg in New York, and got my foundation there. There's a lot of methods out there, and Strasberg was one of them. Those that are listening to the station and don't know about the Strasberg or whatever. He was one of the founding fathers of the Strasberg, or the method acting, and Brando and Dean made it famous, but anyhow.
Yes.
And then basically did some off-Broadway, did Shakespeare in the Park, and then I thought I would make my move to the L.A. and came out here and did some television, and in the 70s was my genre. You know, I worked on Policewoman and those shows, you know.
How fun.
Yeah, it was fun working with on-camera kind of stuff. And then from there, basically, I fell into teaching and directing stage. I love stage. Stage is my love. And so fell into it. I won't give you that long story. And then one thing led to another, and it was 1988, 89. I majored myself, but around there, all I've been doing is teaching and directing plays. So I think the number is about, I don't want to brag, but about 75 now that I've directed.
Not too bad. You got a couple of...
got a few under my belt.
Yeah. Great.
So that's it. And I teach, as I said, I teach all kinds of things. Method's not the best thing to teach unless you want to commit to 2 or 3 years. And it's gotten a bad name over the years, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Because of the James Dean thing or something, I can't go on film until I'm ready. I don't feel it.
Right. It's not really about that.
It's not really about that, no.
You teach at Beverly Hills High School as well.
Hollywood High.
Hollywood High, excuse me.
Hollywood High. Basically a mentor, putting back, you know. And they've opened up a film department there. They just had a theater department. And for 2 years now, they've have a film department. And very lucky, I'm basically through the Lansing Foundation did I get the mentor thing. They asked me if I wanted a mentor with Hollywood High. And so I did, and it was fun. Basically, I've helped them with 2 films that they've put on. The students write it, direct it, act in it, and the whole thing. They've got state-of-the-art equipment. It's a beautiful setup over there. So it's fun, and yet it's very challenging because, again, I have worked with kids, but never really in a high school environment. It's hard because sometimes there is a how do I say it, a difference between my group and, like I would say, look, now you remember Cagney and Bogart, and let's do it that way. And
sure, there's that generation gap.
Yeah, and they'll look at me and say, Bogart, Cagney.
Watch a couple of films. Watch some old films. That might help.
Yeah, right. So. Yeah. But by the way, I want to say congratulations on this is your talk radio thing, and I'm so happy that this is your gig, and I love it. I mean, I've watched some of your shows. You're good at this. I'm going to turn the interview over to you. I'm going to say I directed you in a show about 6 months ago, The Diviners.
You sure did.
And Brett doesn't do enough of his own, and I know you're very, shy kind of guy. So I'm going to, beep your horn here.
Yeah.
A talented actor here is Mr. Brett. and loved working with you.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Getting back to our guest, Tony Torrisi, though. We're talking about you here, buddy.
Well, we got two lovely ladies here. They're not jumping in or anything.
We do. And we're looking forward to talking to them in the next 2 segments.
Oh, okay. This is the Tony. This is the Tony Torrisi
This is the Tony
hour.
show right now.
Oh, okay.
Because you got a lot of great stuff that I want to make sure that we get to here.
Okay.
Starting with what you're working on right now, Rabbit Hole at Theater Palisades.
Yes.
What are some of the good things about working in this particular show as opposed to other shows that you've worked on? What do you enjoy about it?
Each show, and it might be hard to believe the number of shows I've done, I can almost remember all of them that I have done, and each one has their own special place in my heart, in my head. And Rabbit Hole is probably the most, and I look back at Steel Magnolias and some of the more not comedies, dramas that I've done, and Rabbit Hole is probably the most dramatic one that I have done. So the energy putting out that itself has been a testimonial to the actors and working with them, because there's only 5 actors in this play, and the basic storyline is about a 4 or 5-year-old boy who is killed in an automobile accident by a 17-year-old boy. Mm-hmm. And right there, it's pretty heavy.
Very heavy.
But the way it's written, it's very beautifully written, and there is a lot of, I don't want to use the word comedy, but the characters drive the play by their own. All 5 of them have very distinct personalities, and if you come to see the show, you're aware of that, and it's not just 5 people going, oh my God, oh my God. And the writer wants you to know is that the story is not about death, but it's about living and how people relate to that, because everybody has lost somebody or will eventually, and how these 5 people deal with it. So I think that in itself, it was an intense rehearsal. Intense is the key word here. It was the most intense play I've directed so far. So
Absolutely.
And you had done Doubt before too, hadn't you?
No, not Doubt. I was going to, but I didn't do Doubt. I did Diviners, which was also kind of heavy, and Proof. I did Proof.
That's what.
Yeah,
Yes.
Proof.
I have a question when we come back about how you
Great.
approach your work of shows that have been done previously,
Great. Okay.
especially Pulitzer Prize-winning shows.
Yeah, those are good to do too.
If you have any questions for the cast of Rabbit Hole and the director of Rabbit Hole,
Talented
give us a call.
director and talented actresses.
Extremely. Give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. I'm going to say it again, Steve. That's 1-800-336-2225.
Never often enough or slowly enough. Never.
I know. We'll be back on La La Land with Brett and Steve on CRN Digital Talk.